Health and Wealth Radio Network. Talk here. Talk there. Talk 1470 AM and 95.3 FM. The Health and Wealth Radio Network. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.TV. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hello, my name is Dr. Janae Lomaski, and I'm on Tell Us Your Biz. I was invited to talk tonight on Tell Us Your Biz by Freddie Santori. So thank you very much, Freddie, for having me on. And I've been on before, and I talked about my business, but there's so much more to it. So I would love to address some more things tonight that I think everyone will find really interesting. You can listen to us on WNN 1470 AM and 95.3 FM. And the number here, if you'd like to call in and ask me anything, it's 888-565-1470. So, like I said, I'm Dr. Janae Lomaski, and I am a board-certified licensed psychologist. And I work over in East Boca for about 15 years now. I'm at 370 Camino Gardens Boulevard, Suite 111. And my phone number is 561-777-2021. So like I said, I'm a licensed psychologist, and one of the things that makes me stand out is I have lots of different continuing education, because I always felt there was more than just talking therapy. Talking therapy has been very, very helpful for people in the years, and it still is. But what I like to do, because I have a background in dance, I'm very in tune to my body. And sometimes when things go wrong, sometimes people can rationalize it in their heads. They can deny it. They can refute it. And their body can't lie, though. So when you start to feel discomfort, sometimes it's in your stomach or your chest or your head or even your hands or feet. Sometimes that means there's something wrong, not just physically speaking, medically, but mentally. Could be anxiety, could be depression, and our body alerts us to this. So I want to share that information with people, because I see a lot of people run and go get medication quickly versus dealing with whatever's going on in their lives. So I want to share a little bit more about the mind-body therapy that I do. It is definitely a comprehensive approach. So I am a hypnotherapist, which works with mind and body. I do mindfulness, which helps you tune in to what your body is doing at the time it's doing it. And I also am trained in EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And it's also used with a bilateral stimulation called a TheraTapper. And these are just some instruments and tools that I'm talking about that have to do with evaluating someone and working with them therapeutically, not just talking therapy with mind and body. So, like I said, I do a lot of that in my therapy, and I have people come in who have been in therapy for years but never seem to get far enough. And I believe that working with not just the mind but the body and the emotions that come up from it are very, very helpful in having people work through and process information and get rid of what's not serving them well. Another thing that is also very helpful to know is with children. So a part of my practice now that I've expanded into is child empowerment therapy. And with child empowerment therapy, I find the best thing to do is the mind-body approach. Children very much feel what's happening with them. I've had in the last month and a half about a half dozen children that came in for probably about the same thing, and it has to do with anxiety. And I don't think one person hasn't experienced some form of anxiety. Whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, someone, I'm sure at some point has experienced anxiety somewhere in their lives. And people feel anxiety differently. So my evaluation and my therapy is to ask people where they feel it. So getting back to the children, I say to the children, where do you feel the discomfort? Where do you feel ucky? Where do you feel icky? And children are very quick to say a part of their body they mention, where adults are a little bit restrained when they say that. They say, what do you mean, where do I feel it? I want to tell you about it. Children like to pick a part of their body and tell you what it feels like, and they're very good at describing it. So I'm enjoying that, and I help both adults and children with lots of tools. So let me tell you about the tools that I help people with when it comes to the mind-body therapy. Like, I would offer them a toolbox of, let's say, in that toolbox would be some breathing techniques. A really, really good breathing technique. It's pretty simple once you learn it, but it's called diaphragmatic breathing. And for children and for adults, just learning how to breathe a specific way can help calm yourself down. It seems simple, and when I've asked people, even children, to do it, it's a very simple thing to ask them to breathe, but there's a specific way to breathe. And it's breathing from the diaphragm is what helps create a relaxation response. But when I tell adults to do it, a lot of times initially they don't want to do it. They think that's kind of, stupid. They want a quick fix and they don't want to do breathing. But I'm telling you, if you learn how to do some diaphragmatic breathing and you have any anxiety or stress during your day, and you continually repeat doing the diaphragmatic breathing and you're consistent with it, it's definitely going to help your anxiety level and your stress level. And I'm sure everyone wants to have less stress and less anxiety in their life. So the breathing technique, I'm going to show everyone for tonight. You inhale with your nose. I like to put one hand on my chest and one hand on my stomach. And when you inhale with your nose, you're going to blow your belly out like a balloon. And as you exhale, you bring your stomach back in. So again, you're inhaling with your nose and your stomach gets blown up like a balloon. And as you exhale, you bring it back in. And it's actually relaxing me right now because I had a little bit of a back injury from doing some exercise. And just that relaxation breath is very, very helpful in relaxing the whole body. And the reason why I like to do the mind-body is because I don't think many people understand that mental health, physical health, it's one unit. And if we're not addressing the whole thing together, then we're not getting everything that we need to know about what's bothering us or not serving us well. So going back to the child empowerment therapy, I give them tools, not just the breathing. We do some tapping techniques. Tapping is a really powerful technique. Again, any type of touch with the body, and this has to do with bilateral stimulation. There's something just crossing your arms over and tapping just like this and breathing through it as you're tapping, and it can also help soothe you and calm you down. So children do really well with that, as some adults do as well. You can use tapping with your lap. Same thing, just tapping again bilaterally, right, left, or left, right, whatever you prefer. Just that tapping helps people to be centered and grounded. So I find that those techniques are very, very important. Going back to the child empowerment therapy, I'm just about finalizing a book called Harry Scary. And Harry Scary is the anxiety pet that won't go away. And in this book, I give lots of tools and stories for children to help them to release those feelings of anxiety and stress. For adults, we know that anxiety and stress is very difficult. Lately, I've been seeing so many children with it, and for children, it's horrifying at times. And they really need not just to be talked with, but they need real tools. They need to know how to gain control over their bodily functions, as adults do. For children, it's much more scary. So, again, I've been working with that a lot as well. If anyone wants to call in, I'd be happy to answer any questions. The number here is 888-565-1470. And again, it's Dr. Janae Lomaski. So now I'm going to move on a little bit just to share another part of what I do, because I do a lot. So, and I know I don't have a long time here, so I want to get some things in so people know exactly, if they want to reach me, what I do offer. So the next thing I want to talk about, in the years, I've always found that, again, I'm not just a psychologist that identifies illnesses, mental illnesses, but I help to empower people. And that has been my position that I've taken throughout the beginning of the therapy that I've been providing. So I see myself more as a motivator and an inspirational person. I try to empower people. So I know that in the in my industry, there's like, I've noticed that people are saying that they're coaches and that they have been trying to help people, coaching them through certain things. So it really makes sense that I've been coaching many, many years since I became a psychologist, that I've been doing coaching. Aside from, I was my son's soccer coach. When he was, I think, 7 years old, I became a soccer coach. It's funny because I was with a bunch of men who were other soccer coaches, and I had the opportunity to become one. I didn't know much about soccer except watching it. And I went on, I took the test, and I became a soccer coach. And at the beginning, I was kind of nervous because I never did this before, and there were a lot of very strong-looking men that were soccer coaches, and they wanted their children to do well. And now here I come. I'm a female. I'm a psychologist. I'm very empathic. And it's all about win, 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 win. Well, not to pat myself on the back, but being the soccer coach, the team did probably the best they ever did since it came together. And I believe the reason for that was because I understood and I validated the children, and I didn't ignore or deny certain feelings or fears that they had. I embraced it, I identified it for them, and then I empowered them. And my son's team did really, really well. And we got some trophies, and it was a really nice experience for me. So coaching is something that I've been doing for a long time in my private practice, but I've never called myself a coach. Until over the last year, I have a lot of my male patients that at the end of the session and we walk out and say goodbye, they tend to call me, all right, thanks, coach. And I thought, wow, I guess that's the way they perceive it, because I definitely, for some people, I definitely do more of the proactive, empowering them, giving them structure in their lives, you know, making a hierarchy of what's most important and what their goals are. So I decided to develop a program where I do coaching. And these services you can do monthly, and there are a certain amount of times you can reach me. I have different types of programs that people can sign up for. And the feedback that I've been getting is so nice. I'm so grateful that people are doing well. My theory is not to have people in therapy forever and not to keep them as I'm coaching them forever. I like to give people the tools, empower them, and let them do their own thing, because the best reward you can get is when a person is doing well. So that is my philosophy, and that's what I do with the coaching. So let me tell you about some coaching tips. So I have met people that have come into my practice that have paid thousands and thousands of dollars for coaches. And I've read online some of the differences between coaching and psychotherapy, or psychologists, I should say. And it really rubbed me the wrong way, because I thought what they were saying was really incorrect information. Psychologist doesn't always just identify mental illness, a psychologist, because we're so in tune to people and we're so clear about the anatomy of the brain and behaviors that we're the best people to do coaching. So when I meet someone and I do my evaluation, I know what their abilities and capabilities are going to be because I understand the psychology of how they work and their behaviors from the past to now. So I can create an individualized, unique plan for people that I'm quite accurate on how they're going to do, so their expectations are not too high, and how long it's going to take them. So I've been enjoying this, and I'm going to do more of that, and I'm just starting now to advertise doing it so people know that they can get that service from me as well. And coaching is not just about empowering and motivating, but it's to look at the individual and see what their unique skills are and how you can move them forward into what they want. And the funny thing is when people come in, even for therapy, they come in with a presenting problem or a presenting issue or a goal, and they think that's what they want. But during the course of our sessions, sometimes they come up with other things and say, wow, that's not even what I wanted. I thought that was my issue, but it's really not. So it's really important to have a good background and good education, again, on the psychology of people, their behaviors, their mannerisms, their brain chemistry, because not everyone can be at the same level at all. So you have to really have a customized approach with each person. And that's what I like to do, and that is what I do. So going along the lines of coaching, if you look on my website or on any of my social media, which I'm going to give you my website, which is www.drjlomaski.com. And I also have another website attached to that, which is www.drj@powercoaching.com. So that is something where you can look at blogs that I'm doing, and you can see if anything resonates with you or if it can help inspire you or motivate you. And that's what I do. I send out a lot of motivational and inspirational sayings. I try to do it daily, but sometimes it's every other or once a week. But I still have a lot on my social media that you can look at. And again, I'm going to start to blog at least twice a week on different topics. So that's the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is some of the topics. Aside from the children's services where I empower them and help them with anxiety and stress, and aside from the coaching, I also do lots of couples where I see. And in couples, the thing that they come in with mostly, aside from it all comes down to communication issues, is difficulties with sex and stressors about money. So that's something that I see a lot with couples, and I'm sure that if anyone's listening to this out there, they can relate to that in marriages and relationships, because those are usually the top things that couples have an issue with. The financial situation and sex, and it all comes down to communication. Soon I'll be doing a presentation for a company on sex and long-term relationships and how to keep it spicy or how to reignite it. Couples that are together for many, many years have a difficult time, and it is difficult to keep things new and fresh. That's not the most difficult couples to deal with and to work with. I find the most difficult are the ones where they're at different places in their lives sexually, and that becomes an issue where one person or one partner has no interest anymore, and the other one still does have an interest. And it really comes into their whole life, because when one person is feeling frustrated or feeling rejected, it really impacts their entire relationship. And it's not easy. So what I do with people like that, again, I give tools, and I like to do a lot of sensory, again, mind-body work with couples where we do touch, but they're not actually touching. It's more like energy work. And I have a lot of people laughing usually because they're not used to it. But it is kind of nice to see them realize that they give off energy and that your mate definitely is impacted by that. So once again, going back to communication, when you come home from work and you're not saying anything, your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend is definitely getting a message. We give off information all the time. We're communicating when we're not speaking. And people that know us can feel it and they're impacted by it. So we have to be really mindful of how we are and what we're doing and communicate. Communicate the best you can with someone. In couples, I realize a lot of couples are poor in communication. I watch couples communicate in my sessions and they're not communicating. They're pretty much thinking the other person should know what they mean. And it doesn't take a lot of effort to express yourself clearly or to ask for an example or to tell your partner, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you say it in a different way? People get too frustrated too quick with one another. And that happens with adults, and that happens with adults and children. And again, going back to having the clearest communication, taking the time to communicate, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your child, whether it's a friend, whether it's your boss, it's worth it. Because you won't be so frustrated if you clearly communicate and ask the person if they understood you versus saying it the way you want to say it maybe 50 times, but they still don't get it. So again, and I hope I'm communicating this well to everyone out there. Again, if you have any questions for me, the number to reach me here tonight is 888-565-1470. And if you'd like to reach me at my office, it's 561-777-2021. So I hope I get a call tonight, and if not, I'll just keep on talking. So psychology is very, very, very interesting. Like I said, it has so many different areas to it that people don't know. It's so complex. So when I talk about mind-body, it's important because it's not just the mind. That's what makes psychology so complex, because it has to do with the body too. So many years ago, I had someone that came into my office and was going to every medical doctor. And I still have people like this, but this happens to be an extreme case, where they were going to every medical doctor because this person thought that they had many different illnesses and many different diseases. And I'm wondering if people out there can relate to that. I mean, they felt chest pains, they went to a cardiologist, they had gastro pain, stomach pain, so they went to a gastroenterologist. They were even getting migraines, so they went to a neurologist. And I have a lot of people that do come in and have many different doctors that they go to. And it's amazing that it all comes down to sometimes anxiety or depression, because we feel it. Again, this is why it's so important to, if you're going to get any type of therapy or coaching or treatment, make sure that person takes into account not just the mental, not just your mind, but your entire body. And let them ask questions about your body and what areas feel how at certain times of the day. Because that's exactly what I do to really understand what's going on in that person's life. So this person who went to all of these doctors for so long and was on multiple medications for a long time. And then when you add medications that you may not need, it also causes more complex issues for you because there's side effects and you get symptoms from that. So when we were able to identify the the problem, that there was anxiety, because the person kept saying to me it was their stomach, or it was their chest, or it was their head. And I was able to bring up finally an emotion. And the person started to cry when I said about the pain in the stomach. And she had said that it feels like someone's been punching me. And all of a sudden she started to cry. And then we started talking about some fears she had. And then she started to be able to identify what the anxiety is. So working through that and giving some body, mind, and body tools was very, very helpful to this person. And so far she's been doing much, much better. And that's a great thing. Like I said, again, you know, with children, and why I keep going back to that, because I'm doing this in Child's Empowerment Program, where even I teach the parents not to give children timeouts, but I teach them to give them meditation time. Because it's their bodies. You know, the mind, again, you know, using the conscious mind, we deny and we manipulate and we reject. But, you know, if you go into the body and you don't live in your head, you go into the body, you get all the answers. There's a wonderful book out there called The Body Keeps the Score. And it was designed for people who have had trauma in their lives. But I think to some point, each and every one of us has had some sort of trauma in their life. And just being in tuned, again, to your body and not ignoring it is a very, very helpful thing. So if you want to feel better and you want to release and you want to unplug from what's not serving you well, pay attention to your body. And make sure that you are aligning your mind and your body. So the meditation time and mindfulness is something that's very helpful and people can do pretty easily if they learn it. Again, I'm going to tell you where you can reach me and all these services that I just told you that I provide, but mainly I'm a mind-body psychologist. That's my approach, and it's a really powerful approach. I'm at 561-777-2021. I'm Dr. Janae Lomaski. My practice is 370 Camino Gardens Boulevard, and that's Suite 111, and that's in Boca Raton, Florida. And I think I only have maybe a minute. I just want to thank Freddie Santori again for giving me this opportunity to tell us your biz. That's what I do, and I think it's very important. I love what I do and I enjoy it, and I love empowering people and seeing them heal and do really well and succeed. So if you want to reach me again, 561-777-2021. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.